Perfect. Hi guys, happy Sunday. How are we all doing? Some thumbs up, some thumbs average. Perfect. Okay, there was thumbs up. That's good. So we are back for another stretching for runners this evening. So as I just mentioned, we've got some niggly shins, I believe, some niggly ankles and some niggly shoulders. So we're going to be working through some specifics for those, but we'll also work through plenty of stretching for all the body as well. I've got 45 minutes today, and if you wish to use the playlist provided, I've just popped the link again into the chat, and start from the beginning and not on shuffle now. Let me check my sound's working. Yeah, we are all good. Right, we are going to start on those mats. Let me just get everything in the right place. Perfect. So we are going to get started on those mats. Grab your cushion. If you're on a bit of a hard floor, pop your bum on your cushion so it's a bit more comfortable for you. Now, we did this last week, but we're doing exactly the same again this week. Cross your legs, cross them the other way for me. Perfect. So all this is going to do is just mean that we're stretching outside the body that's tighter, because you constantly sit with your legs crossed either in a chair or on the floor in the same way. So by switching this around, it just allows us to do a little bit more stretching of that area. So we're going to start off today with what we call some seated cat-cows. So I'm just going to turn sideways on to demonstrate for you. But you guys stay where you are. We're going to pop our hands onto our knees, and we're going to round through the back, tipping the head down, rounding through, and then we're going to come back the other way, arching through the back, chest proud, head up to the ceiling. And we're just going to work through some reps to begin with. So join in when you are ready. Now, this is just going to really help to open up our chest and shoulders. So for anyone who's been sat at a desk all week, or perhaps it's just a bit of a forward hunched runner, I know I am myself, this is just going to help ease that off for you. Keep those reps going, and you want to try and breathe in as we stretch forward and out as we arch the back in. Keep it going, guys. Nice work. Now, working through these completely at your own pace, however you feel you need to, is absolutely fine. These are a great one that you can actually do sat in your chair while you're working. So remember this one next time you're sat with an achy back. Perfect. Give it a bit of a shake off for me. I'm just going to jump the hoodie off. I'm hot already. I was freezing a minute ago. Perfect. So we are going to come forward into our shoulder stretch. So we're looping the hands together, pushing them forwards, tilting the head down, and we're separating the shoulders as far apart as we can. So you want to pretend that those shoulder blades are separating and going down and out to the sides. And we're just going to breathe into that space that we've created. So when you breathe in, imagine it going to that space in the back. And when you breathe out, imagine it coming all the way back up. Nice. Keep it going. A couple more reps here. One more breath in and out. Well done, guys. Now we're going to take those arms up overhead, and we're going to twist over to the right hand side to begin with. Now this is going to be pretty tight to begin with. Should be stretching you down the side here. Now we're going to do some bounces here. So just slowly working a little bit more depth into that stretch. Remembering to keep your breathing going at the same time as well. We mentioned this last week, but it's just so important to keep your breathing going whilst we're stretching. It's that fresh oxygen that really helps our muscles to relax. So without that, they're going to stay tense, and our stretches aren't going to have as much impact. And back to the center, over to the other side for me, and exactly the same. We're just going to do some pulses as we stretch here. And this is also just starting to wake up our core a little bit as well. So we touched on this last week, but our core is so important when it comes to running. As we swing our arms backwards and forwards, our core connects them to our legs, and that's what gives us that forward propulsion in our action. So waking it up just so that we can make sure we give that a nice stretch out as well. And coming back to the center again, arms forward, shoulders down and back. One last arch through those shoulders. Just going to take 3 breaths here. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Well done, guys. Lowering those hands down. We're just going to slide that cushion from underneath, pop it to one side. We'll be coming back to it in a second. Now we're going to take our feet out, one to the left, one to the right, and bring ourselves up into a yogi squat. So we've got our elbows digging into each side. Now, some of you will be able to get more depth than others. Don't worry if you're a little bit higher, if you're a little bit lower. The aim here is that we're going to rock from side to side, stretching into those hips. And now we are just going to start we're going to spend around a minute down here. Our hips get so tight. Mine are screaming right now. Don't know if anyone else is up. But they're nice. This is just a great stretch that you can incorporate whenever you might need. Not gonna lie, I'm often seen doing it at traffic lights during a run. But it's a really good way just to open those hips up a little bit. Doing this with a little bit more vigor is great for pre-run as well, but post-run, we just want to keep it nice and calm. Well done, guys. And if you want to stay central at any point, that's fine, or you can carry on shifting that weight from side to side. Good work. And we've got another 5 seconds down here. 3, 2, place those hands on the floor, and we are going to push that bum up to the sky. You might need to keep a little bit of a bend in the knees. That's absolutely fine. I'm just going to shuffle to the side so you can see me. Little bend in the knees. We are just in our forward fold here. Now, some of you will have hands on the floor. Some of you will be up here. That's absolutely fine. We just want to feel a nice stretch down the backs of those hamstrings. And we're just going to take some really deep breaths here. And with every exhale, just see if you can sink slightly more into that hamstring stretch. And when you're ready, just sway the stretch, just as we did in our yogi squat. From side to side, perhaps you want to go forwards and backwards, wherever you feel there's any tension in those hamstrings. And whenever you need, if you need a little break, just come back down to that squat, reset, and back through. I'm just going to come check we're all okay. Well done, Gemma. Nice, Eleanor. Well done, Katie and Emma. Just stretching nicely into those hamstrings. Oh, very tight. Now, some of you will have your feet splayed out to the side. Some of them will be directly forwards, as well as playing with swaying forwards and backwards, side to side. Have a play as well with twisting the feet inward and outward. You may find that you start feeling that the outside of your hamstring is a little tighter than the inside, perhaps. But this is a really good way to help you find any tight spots that otherwise might go missed, might go away, and then can potentially cause you issues further down the line. Well done, guys. Just another 10 seconds here before we go back into that yogi squat again in 3, in 2, splay those feet out wide and sink it down into that yogi squat for me. Well done. Now we're just going to counteract that stretch we just did with another little sway through our hips. Remember that we're spending at least 30 seconds, up to a minute or two in some of our stretches today, as spending that length of time in these stretches is just really going to help those muscles to relax. Although it's always important to remember that if you've only got a couple of minutes at the end of your run, something is better than nothing. So even if you can only hold them 20 seconds, that's okay. But today we're really going to get nice and deep into the stretches. And when you're ready, hands go back to the floor again. And we're going to come back up to stretch through those hamstrings again. But this time we're going to pedal onto the tiptoes and back down onto the heel on opposite feet at a time. Hopefully you guys can see that. Now, what's that going to do is start to mobilize those ankles a little bit before we go into some ankle stretching. So just altering from one to the other. You can also come down into that yogi squat and kind of work through some heel raises there if it's a little bit more comfortable for you. Wherever you like, we're just starting to mobilize those ankles, ready for our next few stretches. Well done, guys. Nice. And we're going to roll up to standing really nice and slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, in 3, in 2, and 1. Take it really slow, peeling vertebrae by vertebrae up to that ceiling. The chin stays tucked. The last things to go up are those shoulders back, the chin up, and the forehead up. Well done, guys. Give everything a little bit of a shake off. And this is a good spot for a little sip of water if you need one before we go into our next bit of the class. Well done. Perfect. We're going to come back down to that seated cross-legged position. So grab your cushion again, pop yourself down, and again, switch the way you cross your legs as you do so. Now, if you don't have it close, just grab your strap or resistance band for me. I'll demonstrate with both a loop band and also a strap, just in case we're working with different ones. We're going to take the left leg out to the side, right leg stays where it is. First off, we're just going to work through a little bit of mobility in this hip. So we're just going to take our arms in front, hands to the floor, and we're just going to pulse into that hip to begin with. So bending through the arms, up onto the fingertips and through again. You should start to feel a really nice stretch into that groin and hip area. And just loosening this off is really going to help us when it comes to stretching through the leg as well. Well done. Just 2 more reps. And up, and last one, down and up. Okay, guys, we're going to take the left hand down to the leg, and the right hand is going to come up as we bend over. So we're just stretching through that side to start with. Nice deep breathing. Well done. And as we circle back up to the top, grab a hold of your strap or resistance band for me, and we're just going to loop it around the toes. So we want to be the ball of the foot onto the toes rather than kind of further down the foot. And from here, we're going to add some resistance, and we're just going to point in to flexing the foot and backwards, pointing the toe and flexing backwards. Now just bringing a little bit more ankle mobility in here. Now, if you have got a little bit of tightness in the ankles, this is one of the key exercises I'd really recommend you working through. Just nice and slowly, as slow as you can, down and back. A little bit tricky sometimes as the band pops off, but just persevere. And then we're just going to unwrap that band, lose it, twist the hips to that side, and lower into our hamstring stretch. Should be feeling a nice deep stretch down the back of the thigh. Remember, if you need a bent knee at any point, that's absolutely fine. Don't feel like you have to have a flat knee. And leaning towards the foot. If you can, just flex the foot a little bit more so that the toes are coming up towards that forehead. The more flexion you add to that foot, the tighter you should feel that stretch down the back of the thigh, and the more we're going to open it up. But we don't want to push that stretch more than about a 7 to 8 out of 10 on kind of the, oh, this is a stretch level. And as you breathe in and out, see if you can add any more range of motion. We're going to stay in this one for quite a little bit of time. So get your hands wherever you feel they'll be comfortable for you. That might be both on the inside, one either side, perhaps on the shin. Wherever they feel comfortable, get them there. And we're just going to close those eyes down now and carry on really focusing on that breathing. Remember, every exhale, do you want to give a little bit more flexion to that foot? Well done, guys. And slowly, using the hands, we're just going to lift ourselves back up out. Slide that cushion out from underneath you. And we're going to come up so the left leg is bent and the right leg is on the floor behind us, like so. So we've got left up, right down. Give you a couple of seconds to get there. We're going to go through another chest and back kind of stretch here. So behind your back, interlace the fingers together. And as we breathe in, we're going to really open that chest up. So deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to bend over that front leg, tipping the hands overhead. Now, some of you will be able to get these really far. Some of you will be down here. Some of you will be in the middle like me. Wherever you are is absolutely fine. The focus here is on opening that chest. But if you can, pivot a little bit towards the space that you've got and try and lower a little bit more, and you'll start to feel a nice stretch in that hip and in the hamstring as well on your left leg. Well done, guys. Just going to come check how we are in this one. Remember, a lot of these stretches, we've got our head down to the floor. So if at any point you need to bring it up and give it a little bit of a shake off, that is absolutely fine. You do you. Well done, guys. And we're going to rise back up out of this in 3, in 2, and 1. Carefully rising up. Now, last week we looked at stretching the IT band a little. We're going to do that this week, but in a slightly different stretch. So take the left leg onto the heel, but shuffle it over to the right-hand side of your mat. You might need to grab onto something, or you might need to use your hands to pick up your foot. That's absolutely fine. So essentially it's going diagonally across you. From there, the hands, it's very wobbly, be careful. The hands go over the left of the leg, and you should feel a nice deep stretch down the outside of the left leg. If you need a little bit of height, then just grab your cushion and pop it there so that your hands can rest on that. If you need a bit more, feel free to stack a few cushions on top of each other. And now the deeper you want to get into this one, basically the further to the left you want to turn. So if you want to turn a little bit more, that'll give you a little bit more depth. But if you're happy where you are, that's absolutely fine. And we're going to stay in this one for a little while, about a minute. And now the first 30 seconds are going to be horrible. But if you keep breathing, we should gradually start to feel the IT band relaxing down and gradually stretching through it. Well done, guys. Another 30 seconds. Remember to keep that breathing going. Really great work. Well done. Option to sway a little from left to right to feel that stretch in a few different places as well. And we've got another 5 seconds. We're going to come back to our cross-legged seated position in 3, in 2, and 1. Gently pop your cushion back underneath and pop yourself back into that cross-legged position. And you guessed it, we're going to go through the right leg now. So taking the right leg out to the side, left leg stays bent in front. We're going to work initially through those pulses again. So hands to the floor, pulsing down and up, opening this hip. Now, I find that I'm a lot tighter on my right hand side. If you're finding you have one side tighter, that is absolutely fine. Don't sweat it at all. It just means that one side of your body is working a little harder than the other. Now, ways to improve this are making sure you're working through single-sided stretching, such as this, rather than stretching both legs at the same time. And also single-sided strength work as well. If you're doing any strength work, try and make it what we call unilateral, which is just exercising one side at a time. And that will really help with any imbalances you might have. Just 3 more pulses here, guys. In 2, and 1. We're going to come up, right arm to the side and sweep it over. Stretching through the core and up into that tricep as well. Well done, guys. Great work. And coming back to center, grab that strap or band for me. And we're just going to work through a few more ankle mobility movements on this side. So remember that the strap should be around the ball of the foot and the toes. And all we're going to do is add a little tension and then point and flex. Don't worry if your band pops off. It popped off on me the other day and it popped into my face, which was nice. But it's still going to help. Well done. There we go. It's just done it. At least it wasn't my face this time. Keep it going, guys. Just going to work through another 4 flexions in 3. 2 more. And last one. Well done. This is a great strengthening exercise as well. Wrap that band off. Twist the hips to the right hand side. And we're lowering into that hamstring stretch again on this side. Now remember, options to have your hands wherever feels comfortable for you, but try and keep the hips square. Try not to be over here. We want to try and be square over the leg. Well done, guys. Great work. Just going to come check that we're all good. Ooh, got jelly legs. Well done, Eleanor. Well done, Katie and Emma. Keep going. Nice. And we're holding here for a little while, just as we did on the other side. Remember, option, flex those toes a little bit more towards that forehead, and that's going to increase that stretch for you a little bit as well. Remember, no need to have the knee flat unless that's comfortable for you. We all have different ranges of motion, so it's important not to compare to others when we're working through stretching. Okay, another 15 seconds here. Remember, option to massage that leg in any places you might feel you need to while you're here, perhaps through the quad, just adding a few thumb massages feels nice for you. And in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2, and 1, we are going to pop that right leg up, left leg comes behind, slide that cushion out. Oh, hello. And we are up to kneeling again. Well done, guys. Just take a second here, reset yourself, and we're going to work through our chest opener stretch again. So arms come back behind you, and we're going to take a nice deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we come over that front leg. Remember, option here to breathe into the space instead and add a little bit of a hip stretch. If that's too much for you, it's quite deep, just come chest over the leg. If you need a little bit of support under the back knee, slide your cushion in, and that should give you a little bit more of a bumper if you're on a hard floor. Well done, guys. Great work. And coming back up in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2, and 1. Slowly up we come. Careful, nice and slow. Ooh. Sliding that cushion out. We're going to do our IT band stretch on this side. So we're going to take the right leg over to the left-hand side of the mat. You might need to pick it up like so. And then our hands go over the leg to the right-hand side. Oh, that's very tight, very tight. Over to the right-hand side. And we should start to feel a nice stretch down the outer side of the right leg. Remember, option, if you need a bit more height, pop those cushions in to help you. And to increase the stretch, simply walk the hands a bit further round to the right. But I will not be doing that because this is very tight. And just remember to keep breathing as we go. Well done, Eleanor. Really good use of the yoga block there. Well done. Anything you can use to kind of increase your height a little bit is going to decrease the range of motion. And remember, the first 30 seconds is going to be horrible, but the second 30 seconds as we start relaxing off that muscle will be worth it, I promise. I've got another 20 seconds here. Nice deep breathing. Last opportunity, and we're coming out of this stretch in 3, in 2, and 1. And instead of coming back to seated this time, our legs go behind and we're coming into our tabletop position. Option to pop your knees up onto a cushion if that's a little bit more comfortable for you. Hands stay down on the floor, and we're simply going to work through a little bit of ankle mobility here. So tucking your toes underneath, all we're going to do is go up to downward dog like so, and then back down again. Now you can go through these at completely your own pace, but we want to move through them quite slowly, making sure the heels touch the floor before we come back forwards again. Whenever you're ready, just start working through those. And this is really going to help stretch out the backs of those ankles specifically, but it's also going to help us with our general range of motion in that joint. And when that comes to the ankle and the toes as well, that's something we call plantar and dorsiflexion. All things which are very helpful when it comes to running. So anything we can do to increase the range of motion whilst keeping nice and stable is really important. And just keep working through these reps at your own pace. I'm going to come check how we are. Well done, Hannah. Nice work, Eleanor. Well done, Katie and Emma. Keep moving through those reps. And next time you come up into your downward dog, we're going to stay there. And we're just going to pedal one by one through those legs. So bending the opposite leg each time. Now, for those of you who are feeling some tightness in those calves, what I want you to do is while you're bending, just bring the hands a little bit further back towards your feet and force that stretch a little bit higher through the bum. And that's going to increase the stretch through the calf when you pedal the feet. For those of you who are feeling it more in the hamstrings, keep the hands a little bit further forwards. And that's going to be a really nice hamstring stretch for you. And if you need at any point option, have a little break in tabletop. We're just going to spend a minute walking through and stretching out wherever you need. Perhaps you want to go as deep as the hips, in which case add a little bit of a rotation when you bend the leg, and that will bring it up into those hips for you as well. Perhaps you want to do all three places, in which case make a little dance out of it. Well done, guys. And when you're ready, we're meeting back in tabletop. Whenever you've worked through your reps, knees back down and back to tabletop. Just wait for everyone to join us there. Well done. And this is another good opportunity just to grab a little drink of water if you're feeling that you need one before we move into the kind of final section of today's stretch. Perfect. So meeting back in that tabletop position, slide the cushion out from underneath your knees, and we're going to sit back into our child's pose. So knees come out to the side, feet together, and we sit back onto those heels. Arms and fingertips stretching as far away from us as we can. Should feel a nice deep stretch through the shoulders, through the armpits, down the sides of the back, muscles which are really quite hard to stretch. And also you might feel it a little bit in the bum as well. We've got 2 more stretches to take on our front today before we move on to our lying on our back stretches, which are going to nicely round off our stretch, give us an opportunity to close those eyes down and tune out for a little while. So when you're ready, coming back up to tabletop, tuck those toes and back up into downward dog for me. Now I'm going to kick the wall, so I'm just going to shuffle forwards a little bit. You're going to take your left leg up for me, step it through the middle of the hands. Now we're going to bring the right leg back, so in a low lunge, and we're going to heel toe the foot out to the left of the mat, lower the back leg, untuck the toes, and we're just going to work into that hip a little bit. We're just going to do 3 or 4 lunges forwards today. Just 2 more before we work into our pigeon stretch. So bring those hands back down, heel toe the foot over to the right hand side of the mat, lower the knee down to the left hand side, and shuffle yourself into a comfy pigeon pose. Grab your cushion, pop it in front of you, and options are to either stay up on the hands if you're feeling that nice deep down your glutes as it is. If you want a little bit deeper, option for the forearms, and even deeper option to come into a little bit of a nap, whichever one you fancy. This is a very intense stretch, so don't worry if you're finding this very deep. Focus on that breathing. And as you increase the depth of that breath, we start to increase the relaxation through the glute, through the hip. Well done. We're going to stay here for a minute, guys. Remember, opportunity for you to come down into a deeper stretch if you want. You can always come up out of the deeper stretch as well. But the key thing is that we want you to be comfortable but challenged. If you're in the stretch and you can't feel anything, that is a signal to go to the next stage. Well done, guys. Keep it going. Close those eyes down for our last 15 seconds. Just the breathing. And in 5, in 4, in 3, in 2, and 1. Coming up onto the hands again. Really simply, we're going to tuck the toe on the right foot, Send the left leg back to meet it, back into our downward dog. Pedal those feet out a little, stretch through that hip, and notice a difference between the left-hand side, which we have done, and the right-hand side, which we haven't. You should feel perhaps a little off balance. That's completely fine. Next step is we're going to take that right leg up, step it through, take it heel toe it out to the right-hand side, drop the left knee and untuck the toe, and work into our 4 lunges through that hip. Well done, guys. That's 3 and 4. After your 4th one, heel toe that foot over to the left-hand side of your mat, and the knee comes down to the right-hand side. Grab that cushion, and you know your options. We're either up on our hands, down on our forearms, or having a nap. Now, as you can see from me, each side is very different. I'm a lot tighter on this side. So don't worry if you were down on your arms on one side and now you're up on your hands, that's totally fine. Again, we're going to be spending a whole minute here just working really deep into that hip. The hip is a common cause of knee injuries, as well as actual hip injuries itself. Now, for those of you who had some unhappy shins, what we've done today is we've worked through some calf stretches. So the shins themselves are really hard to stretch out, really, but shin pain is usually caused by calf tightness. So any of the stretches that we've done today through the calves, so things like our yogi squat but up on your tiptoes, are going to be really good for stretching those out. The other thing I would advise is grabbing a tennis ball or a golf ball, sliding it underneath and just rolling through it a little bit as well. Well done, guys. We've got another 20 seconds here. Keep breathing. Nearly there. In 3, in 2, and 1. Coming up onto those hands. Swing that left leg round. Pop your cushion behind you and slowly come down to a lying position on the floor. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Right. And I'm just going to go to sleep now, I'm joking. We're just going to put the feet together, allow the knees to flop out to the side for a second, just to counter stretch that groin. We've done a lot of work through the hip and groin. So by just stretching through here and taking some nice deep breaths in and out. Well done. One more in and out. Now we're going to bring those feet flat for me, knees bent. And you're going to lift your right leg up, take it into the hands on the thigh. And we are really simply going to work through some ankle rotations here. So I want you to tip your toes all the way back as far as you can towards your forehead, all the way out to the right as far as you can. Point your toes all the way down as far as you can, all the way to the left and all the way back again. So you've got your 4 points. And now this is called a controlled articular rotation. Working through this nice and slowly. A really good one to add pre-run as well. You want to be working through about 8 reps clockwise and 8 reps anti-clockwise. And when we're ready, next time you hit the top, we're just going to change direction. So going to the left first, then down to the right and up. Well done, guys. Oh, a bit shaky. There we go. And after your next rep, when you reach the top, just cross that right leg over onto the left for me, leaning through the gap, taking hold of the back of the left thigh. We're going to come back down to the floor and you should feel a nice stretch through that right glute. Option here, grab your right hand and apply a little bit of pressure on the inside of the right thigh, but purely optional. If this is enough for you, then stay there. Remember, this is your time to close those eyes down as well. Tune out a little bit. With every exhale, breathing away the week, and with every inhale, bringing fresh oxygen into the body to see us through the week ahead. Well done. And lowering that left foot down to the floor. Untuck the right foot. And we're going to bring that left leg up into the hand. And we're going to work through our controlled articular rotations this side. So first off, as far back to the forehead as we can, then over to the right, point, over to the left, and back. Now, again, as we always say, really normal to notice a difference in range of mobility here. But by working through these on a regular basis, it is something that you can improve massively. Now, this one always makes me laugh, but a really good time to do your ankle cars is actually while you're having a wee, while you're sat on the toilet. Great time to do it. Just lift your foot up and do some ankle cars. And once you reach the top, switching the other way for me. So left first, then down, then to the right, and back. Working through a few more reps. Well done, team. And once more. Next time you reach the forehead, crossing that right foot, left foot over onto the right, through the gap, bringing that leg, all that is very tight, back, and stretching into that left glute. Now, option, same as the other side, to use that left hand to apply a bit more pressure. I'm going to be staying here for today, but you add that in if you wish. And we're going to be staying here for around 30 seconds again on this side. Well done, Eleanor. Well done, Hannah. Nice, Emma. Keep it going. And remember, keep breathing as well. Nice work, guys. And in 3, in 2, and 1, release that foot to the floor, uncross the left leg, and shuffle those feet out so that the legs are flat on the floor for me. Those hands are going to come down to your sides, palms facing up. Relax those shoulders into the mat. Make sure the back is flat against the mat. And close those eyes down. Now we're going to stay here for the last 2 minutes of today's session. Just breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Keeping those eyes closed down. And by practicing our controlled and calm breathing, it becomes an automatic part of our life. When you're running, you'll notice that this is the breathing wavelength that you tune into, for example. So anytime you can just lie, even if it's for 30 seconds, and just practice that breathing. Do take the opportunity to do so. If it helps, pop one hand on the belly, one hand on the chest, so you can feel the expansion and the collapse of the lungs as you go. And for this last minute, I'm just going to leave you to yourself. Just breathing. And I'll come back to wake you up in 60 seconds. Well done, guys. And placing those arms back down by the side. Start to wiggle those toes, wiggle those fingers. Wake the body back up a little. And rolling over to whichever side you like, coming into a bit of a fetal position with the legs bent. Bring the hands under the cheek. Another few deep breaths. And when you're ready, keeping those eyes closed still, just bring yourself back up to cross-legged. Remember, crossing the opposite way to what feels normal for you. Popping those hands on the knees. Together, we're just going to take one final breath. As we breathe in, we're going to bring the shoulders up to the ears. And as we breathe out, we're going to roll them back and down. Breathing in together. Let's go. In. And breathing out. Rolling them down and back. And gradually just blinking those eyelids back open. Welcome back, guys. It's a bit bright. Well done, team. I hope you enjoyed today's stretch. I'm feeling very zen now. I think I'm ready to go get into bed and go have a nap, to be honest. But thank you so much for joining us today. It was lovely to see you all again. I know I see a few of you throughout the week on our strength class as well. For those of you who haven't joined our strength class before, I'd love to offer you a free go at one of our strength classes this week. So if you're interested, just pop me an email over to hello@trainpassa.com and I will ping you over a little code that will let you onto one of those classes for free this week. We have Tuesday evening at 6 and also Thursday evening at 6 as well. For those of you who are already joining us, I really look forward to seeing you then. Next Sunday, we're back for stretch at exactly the same time at 6 o'clock for 45 minutes again. As always, I'll be asking for any tight areas that need stretching out during the day on Instagram. So do make sure that you check us out on Instagram at @trainpassa so that we can make sure that we're giving you all of those areas that you specifically want to stretch out as well. If you've got any questions from today's session, I will stay on the call now. But for everyone who is off to enjoy the rest of their Sunday evening, maybe a roast potentially, for those of you who haven't already had one, then I will see you in the week or next weekend or at any point in the future. Thank you so much, guys, and see you again soon.